Hey y'all. I just got back from Nats and I ended up going to a locals about a day later, and I took Mitsurugi Ryzeal, a little bit of a different deck than I took to Nats, and I ended up taking first. There's a regional in 2 weeks, so I've been prepping a lot for it. You know, a boy got to get his invite, and let's hop right into it. This deck is going to look a little standard at first, so I'm going to start off with the Mitsurugi. So I'm playing triple Habakiri, one Mirakumo. There's the list that's playing the bigger Mitsurugi package. I think that list is very cool, but I wanted to stay as close to the ground as possible. I think I do a lot better with the Ryzeal cards, and I think the Ryzeal cards are a little bit better than the bigger Mitsu package. If you can get to X, if you can get to any of the Ryzeal cards, you just do everything in a game anyway. So there's no reason to clog your deck with more engine. I don't think this format is very much if you have more engine, you're going to win. So you just want more room for non-engine, and that's why I'm sticking to this. And then we have the triple of the bricks. They're not really hard bricks except for Kusanagi and Saji. You don't want to open these because you want access to Habakiri. And you don't want to play more Aramasa because low-key this is the worst one to send from deck. And you don't want to normal summon it. And then we're also playing one Night Sword Serpent. I've tried playing this deck without this as much as I can, but this being able to give you a free rank 4 within the engine makes it worth playing in my eyes. So that is the entire Mitsurugi monster lineup. Next, we're on to the Ryzeals. We're playing as many of the starters as possible. So we're playing 2 Ice, 2 Sword, and 2 X'd. You want to max out on them. If you see these, you're in a very commanding position. These are the cards you want to see. And then we're playing 2 of the bricks, being Node and Star. I tried playing this deck without these, but then like the names don't really do as much. If we still had 3 of these, I think that was possible. But the fact that these are at 2, you need to play the backups. Node is really good. Node allows you to go into more XYZ lines. Star, I've tried cutting as much as possible, but it doesn't let you do the line where you get to put all 4 of them on board and then make a easy detonator for a negate with cross. If you guys want to see any lines with this, let me know. But Star was pretty good. You don't want to draw it. Every time I see this card in my hand, I want to stop playing the deck, but it's fine. Next are the hand traps, and there are a lot of hand traps. I was trying to cut down on them, but you want to play as many as possible, solely for the fact that if you are hit with Droll, you want to be able to play cards that can basically Droll your opponent back. So we're playing triple Fuvalos, triple Perulia, triple Droll and Lockbird, triple Ash Blossom, triple Imperm, 2 Bestials, and a Nib. Now, I know this seems like a lot, because what do we got here? We got 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 hand traps. This is a lot, but that's the format we're in. You want to be able to make sure that if you can't play, they can't play. Because if you play more engine, you're just going to lose when you go second, right? Because the only things that can really break through a big board going second are breakers. Engine isn't really the best right now. So you want to be able to play as many cards that just tell your opponent no, or stop them, or slow them down, or put them on a half board. And I think these are the best cards to do it. A lot of people don't know how to play through these, but if they do, sometimes they just combo through them. That's why you got to draw into these. If you draw into engine, you're in a bad position. You draw into these, you're fine. Droll is also the best one to really hit anybody with, except for Malice. If you hit Malice with this, you're having a bad day. But it's fine because hopefully you see one of these. So yeah, that's about all of that. The only other weird ones, you play one of Nib solely for the fact that you search it. And you play these because you want to have as many cards that can stop Lunalite as possible. Lunalite isn't the best deck, but you don't want to have it like instantly beat you game 1 when you play against it. Game 1 in that matchup is actually very important because you want to be able to go into post side without them FTKing you. Double Liger is just really hard to out. And then for the spells and traps, you have triple prayers, 1 ritual. You don't want to play anything more than these. Some people are main decking the trap. Some people are playing Magatama. I thought those cards were really good, but the issue was that you didn't really need them to win. I wanted cards that always let me play. This isn't really what this is, but this is an engine requirement, and Prayers is like the best card ever printed, so it's fine. And then we're playing 1 Bonfire. This is just a 3rd copy of Ice and X'd. And technically 2nd copy of Star. That comes up sometimes, but like those lines are few and far between. One cross, another engine requirement. Again, I was playing the list that didn't have this, but being able to set up a Baguska with a cross negate is very important in the current meta. And without playing with cross for the longest time, I did not play this card at Nats. I did not play this card for months, but coming back to it just felt broken. And then two of the Trinity. Call by the Grave, just being able to be a crazy going first card and even going second, being able to help break some boards. And triple attack talents, just being able to punish anybody. Fantastic. Two of the best cards of the format. I don't even know why they're still in the game. That's the main deck. That's 42 cards. Next is the extra deck. This is going to look a little standard. One detonator, two duo drive. You play two because you want to send one off of your X sometimes, because you want to be able to have the duo drive negate with the cross. And one detonator because that's all you can play. One of the King of the Pharolymphs. Some people play two, but you want to play one because you could actually loop it if it comes down to it. And being able to just search Habakiri is fine. Double Eclipse Twins. I like to play two. I know this isn't always the most standard, but being able to just have one set up for the detonator and then being able to send the second one later into the game is very crucial in my opinion. One Dugaris. This card comes up a lot. Just being able to, in certain matchups, you want to prioritize this over detonator. Solely for the fact that seeing non-engine is a lot more important than seeing detonator into certain matchups. Like into Mitsu, this card is kind of cheeks, but this card is crazy. One Tornado Dragon to force out back row. One Gallant Granite to search the Nibiru. One Baguska, because it's a god card. If you're able to set up the Baguska lock, you can do anything in the game. Basically, like, no deck can really kill you through it, unless they open, like, absurd. And if you're able to just survive, you can kill them on crackback with as much damage as you have on board. This is also, like, super, like, I cannot tell you how crazy this card is into Vanquish Soul. One Aggregator, being able to just have a out to Baguska is very good. This also outs Detonator and helps break the Malice board. One Valon. So this is a card a lot of people sleep on. I was testing it before Nats, didn't end up throwing it into my list, but I was really liking it. The thing that Valon does that Aggregator doesn't is that Aggregator isn't really the best card into matchups like Mitsu, like pure Mitsu. You would rather have Valon. And there's just so many matchups where like you would rather snipe out the back row, because it's basically like in the matchups where this is good, this isn't. In the matchups where this isn't good, this is. So it's very like 50-50. If you haven't tried it, I would suggest trying it out as you can. The more you play with it, the more you'll understand just how crazy this card is. And then the three links, the IP, the Dyna, and the SP. The IP lets you play with just the Mitsu cards and allows you to just have like a free SP banish. And Dynamundo has been coming up a lot more recently than I have expected it to. There's just a lot of games where you can just lead in with the Mitsu package, make Dyna out a problematic card, and then lead into the Ryzeal cards. I think one of the issues I had playing this deck before in my old profiles is that I always led the Ryzeals, but now it's very much like matchup dependent. And that's something I learned while playing this deck more. So I'm very glad and blessed I've been grinding a little bit more with this deck. But yeah, I don't think I would cut down on any of these. IP I don't think is as needed. But yeah, they're very broken. There's no Ouroboros. There's no Infernal Flame Banshee. Those were a lot of cards I was testing out for Nats and I was really liking. The thing is that you don't want to play too much. You don't want to do too much, basically. Like, there's so few plays you actually need to do to win, and I think those cards overcomplicate it. In this deck, at least. And the side. Triple Meows. This is basically for Lunalite. This is for Evil Twin. This is for Fiendsmith decks. This is for Malice. In the matchups where Perulia basically isn't good, you want to side this in. Perulia just happens to cover more of just generic matchups. Triple Ansia, again, this is for Lunalite, this is for Malice. Very, very good card. There were also just random matchups where this would come in because people would be on Protoss, so you'd want to side this in so you wouldn't get Protoss locked for your life. Triple Eschatos. So this card is broken for numerous reasons. And if you saw in my extra deck and in the rest of my side, I actually don't have a real way to search this. This is basically just a breaker that you can draw into that X itself makes live. Came up a lot. I think the theory of not playing too much to search into it was really good. You can also, I am lying, there is one way you can search it, and it's Magmut. And Magmut searching into this was broken. But yeah, just basically getting into Eschatos going second is just crazy. In a lot of matchups, you'd rather see the Breaker than this. Like into Malice especially, if you can just bait out their TP, you just summon this, call Cybers, and they die. The last part of Trinity, Lightning Storm. You just basically want to like stop up all the other rogue decks. And into a lot of decks, basically Breakers are just better than hand traps. So you just side out the hand traps you don't want to see and just side into Breakers. And triple Warning. Warning is just a crazy card right now. Low key, these might just change into Strikes and Judgment. But for right now, this is what this is. This side probably needs a little work because I have 6 cards that are super dedicated for going second in my deck with the Charmies. And I only have 4 that are super dedicated going first in here. So that probably needs to look at. But of course, the regionals next week. So we'll see how this goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions on the deck list, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to keep showing off my decks as we approach into a new season. I'm going to try to go to as many events as possible. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.